The Whine and Cheese Show is a Metaverse and NFT discussion and interview series brought to you by Metaverse Ventures Entertainment and host BEN68 and Morecheese. Warning: the information and opinions within are solely the views of the individuals involved and contains content not suitable for anyone.
One is a wanker, one's slinging stunts, one's from Australia, one's from the Bronx.
Snack size.
Now, speaking of old mate Cuban, this was kind of Dr. Dirk's reply, almost, which was cool to see, if I can get that out of the road. So, Dirk has said, what Mark Cuban got right calling Metaverse land super meta immaculately dumb. I guess he didn't want to say, what did he say? Motherfucking stupid or whatever. I guess he didn't want to put that in his tagline, and what he got wrong.
So this is an actual article that Dirk wrote?
Yes.
Ah,
if we
cool.
Scroll, I'll
Very
scroll all the
cool.
way down to the bottom just to say, yeah, Dr. Dirk Lueth is the co-founder and CEO of Upland Me. He has a PhD in economics, yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, this is from the Dirk man himself.
Nice. I love it.
I thought you were saying Dr. Dirk just because it like phonetically works so well. No, dude's an actual doctor. Right on.
He is, yeah. So, if you haven't seen what Mark Cuban was all about, we posted a clip out there. There's several Upland related YouTubers have posted clips as well, so go and check that out. But basically, he was just shitting on the whole idea of land grabs in the virtual world, and a lot of it's to do with the big two, Decentraland, Sandbox. They're the ones that always get talked about, but those are imaginary worlds where the limit on what you could sell as far as land goes is, there is no limit. They could come up with whatever the hell they wanted and sell that, where Upland is a completely kettle of fish, kind of.
I mean, if we ever run out of space, which will be years from now, we could always go into space, and that would be its own little special, amazing, freaking awesome thing. So
we've also got the sea. We can always go underwater. I have been pushing Atlantis for months and months. I'm not going to stop. Until I bring Atlantis to Upland, I'm not going to stop.
Well, it has to be when we run out of land.
I was hoping to be the first international city, but then we got Rio.
Well, I've got good news for you. If we continue on our path now, I just did some Googling while we're talking. How many cities do you think there are roundabout in the world?
In the world?
Geez,
5,382.
2 million.
According to the quick Googling I did, there's about 10,000 cities in the world. So if we stick on the schedule of one city a month release, we've got 833 years until we sell out.
That works for me.
Yeah. So it's kind of limited, but is it really? You have to take that kind of talk with a grain of salt,
Well, you got to also understand that they can't go to everywhere. There's some places that people can't even play this game.
Well, just because the people in that actual real world country can't play it doesn't mean it can't be put as a city on the map. I mean, it might be a weird decision for them to make, but they could.
Yeah, but it would be so messed up. It's like, we could do this, you can. I would feel so guilty.
Yes. Yeah, and not every city is an established big city that's going to require being mapped to Web3 and all that sort of stuff. So what Dirk has said here is what Cuban missed is that the Metaverse land is an essential part of building a Web3 economy that will be the platform moment for Web3. Land is not dumb, it is necessary.
Yeah.
Why is it necessary?
Because that's where you're going to that's where your address is where your Web3 is going to be. Where you are situated in a metaverse where everybody else is, that's going to be kind of like their mall. And just like all these Web3 stuff that's going around, like TML's working on stuff, other people have stuff coming out. You're going to want to kind of have a foundation for it.
Yep.
It's also the properties, the land, whatever word you want to use for whichever metaverse, they themselves are the platform. It's like if the metaverse or Web3, if that's the internet, then the land is the website or the web server that the user is interacting with.
interface.
That's how I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're setting up to start our own, what they say here is a UGC, user generated content store with the outdoor decor. Now at present, we need land for the factory, where eventually we're going to need land for the showroom, and eventually we're going to need land for the warehouses. We're going to need land for the transportation vehicles. So it's all land based, land. So. Yes, and I like how he's taken a moment here to plug his book. Have you read that yet, Cheese? You've got it.
I have it, but I just got it for the autograph.
Nice. Yes, and so said differently, he said here, like in the real world, without land, value creation is hard or even impossible because goods need to be produced and placed somewhere. I mean, yeah, sure, you can walk around the streets collecting cans off the side of the road, but if you want to recycle those, you still have to go somewhere to exchange those goods. And that, you're not recycling unless you're meeting with some middleman distributor behind the back of the bus stop. There's some physical property where that transaction is going to take place. So I know you looked cringy there when I said back of the bus stop, Cheese. What's going on? Right. So we in Web3 must admit that Cuban's skepticism of metaverse land is justified given the economics of many projects out there. Yeah, so what he's talking about there is like Sandbox, Decentraland. They have tokens tied to the crypto markets. You could spend 20 grand buying, or even way upwards of that, buying a plot of land. What do we always say, next to Snoop Dogg or something? But then the crypto economy tanks, and then suddenly that's, again, it's one of those things where if you hold, you haven't really lost any value. It's perceived value that you've lost, but it's that roller coaster that you have to ride of emotions. So
Yeah.
And we don't have that issue in Upland, which I can't. It's a source of constant frustration for myself, Cheese. What about you, Scoob? That Upland's never in the conversation with these other big projects, and yet our user base is so much more active and established.
I know it's definitely more active and established. We may not have the millions and millions numbers of active players a month, but then again, that is partially because Upland does it does what it can to stop multi-accounting. The idea is that we only have one person per account, so we're not necessarily going for the biggest numbers. And I was listening to the most recent Upix podcast, and they touched on something that I completely agreed with about community. Even in his original negative, opinions about metaverses and the land, Cuban's big thing was that if that's ever going to work, it's only going to work if you build a community around it. And I'm looking at Upland like, yes.
Well, we've especially yourself with the Icon group, and Cheese and myself with the UDU. It's the community came before any of this Web 3.0 talk. Like, we had the very basics, and we built the community long before this ever became a thing. So.
Oh yeah, no, I talk to people all the time because they're talking about, well, what are your plans, or what's the long-term idea, or what are you gonna do? And I gotta explain to them just how speculative everything is. We've been planning for things for well over a year, things that we still frankly don't have all that much information about, and you just got to be prepared to pivot, because however it ends up coming, it's what we are going to do with it. That's where that layer 2 is going to come into play. That's where the businesses come into play. Having a plan is important, but so is being flexible about it.
Yeah.
And that's where the community comes in. You have people that can give and take where they need to.
Absolutely. Yeah. We just, as an example of that, we just got some news about outdoor decor late last night. And I was like, hang on a minute, what? So you got to be up on your feet, and you're changing directions. You're not starting on a new track and, starting from scratch all the time. So we'll see how we go.
And what's up with gazebos? Are those coming or not?
It's an interesting point of contention.
We were told
essentially we don't know.
We were
Sorry,
told
James?
we were told we couldn't, but now we're not so sure.
I very early on in the process, I sent an image of a gazebo with an attached kind of barbecue area, and I said, is this something where we can produce? And we were told no, because a gazebo is something that is constructed and it's fixed. It cannot be moved. And yet, from what I have seen from some other people, they have submitted gazebos and that's all been approved. So we got no idea. So again, it's one of
Yeah.
those situations where we'll just cross that bridge and, we'll adjust to things when it comes, because we've set up everything that we're going to have for sale in our outdoor decor store is kind of like Lego pieces that can fit together as a set. Like our original idea was all of these pieces were going to be put together as one giant set piece, but we were told, no, you can't do that. So,
By the way, I looked through your showroom there. I'm particularly interested in the umbrella table patio thing. I'm looking at that.
Have you seen the top of it?
I mean, I wasn't specifically looking at the top. You mean the umbrella part?
Yeah.
there's a giant big
No.
dragon on there that Cheese has arted.
Well, I'm gonna now.
I don't think you
Yes.
can. I think you could only see the side, so it's like a big secret. But oh
Well, the
my
secret's
gosh.
out now. You just admitted it.
I will,
Everybody
yeah.
knows.
But you
That's out
like
of the
to
bag.
see it. That's so
I'd love
funny.
to see it.
Cheese, can you see if you can find?
Sure.
Can you see if you can find DTEX PHP3 thing or whatever they're called? That link.
I
thing
love
that
the way
can
you
check
say
it out?
the letter H.
H.
You say
All right.
H.
Yes. So yeah, getting back to the old Cubo and Dirk's response, yeah, it is all about community, and Mark Cuban made that exceptionally clear in like when he was talking about his concerns. And I think like Decentraland and Sandbox, they have very, very tiny daily active users or monthly active users. It's in the low thousands or something like that, where Upland's in the hundreds of thousands. So
Have you
Yes,
ever tried to use Decentraland? Like actually play it?
funnily enough, like we've touched on things related to Decentraland a couple of times. Like they opened a sex store in there, and there was a few other things. So I had to, because I wanted to get a good screenshot for the thumbnail. So I actually signed up and created an avatar and went in there. It's pretty cool. I liked it. It was a bit janky, but my laptop is very old, so I wouldn't put much value in that. But yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, every time I've spent any time in there, it's kind of cool for about 5 minutes, and then I kind of find myself being like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess that could be said too for Upland. Like it's always hard for us because we've been playing for so long. We have evolved with the game, so we know what all these things are. Imagine being a new player now coming in from scratch, and you've got legits and block explorers and international cities now and international transport. Like it's a lot to get like up to speed with when you're onboarding. And the onboarding systems they have in place is, well, let's be honest, pretty woeful. If there was no active community in the Discord, it would, gosh.
And maybe that's what the difference is. Going back to this idea of community, I've gone into Decentraland a few times, but I don't even know if they have a Discord server. I've never interacted with the community at all.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Cheese, how'd you go? Did you find it?
I did. I put it in chat. In this chat.
So what do you think, Cheese, about the whole community aspect of it?
Of Upland?
Where like the disconnect, like why isn't, like Upland is such a community focused like platform, and yet it's never on the radar in any of these articles.
I feel like it's bittersweet. I agree with Scooby in a sense where our numbers are nowhere near theirs, so it's not really taken as
But they are.
seriously. Are they?
They are. They're way ahead. Like the Upland monthly active users is in the hundreds of thousands. Decentraland and Sandbox is in the 3,000-4,000.
See, I didn't realize that Decentraland and Sandbox were that low.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I think the UpX podcast, or there was something I watched recently, or it might have been Loyal Doyle or somebody. They were going over the numbers, and it's woeful in comparison. Like we're 10x whatever they were.
That's crazy. Yeah, I just assumed that they would be higher.
Yeah, come to think of it, I think it was Loyal Doyle's one of his latest videos, where it might have been the Mark Cuban one that he put out there. So get over and check that one out.
Now that I know that, I have no idea to answer your question from a little while ago about why is Upland not being mentioned alongside these whenever the big articles are talking about them. I now don't know. Maybe it's because we don't have a Snoop Dogg. I mean, we have the NFLPA and we got some Portuguese people, but like I guess we don't have that big, Snoop Dogg, Vin Diesel level
We need
celebrity.
Elon Musk. We need Elon.
I don't know if we need anybody quite that polarizing.
It might be the case where it's a blessing and a curse of not having a cryptocurrency that's in the market associated with it. So we don't get that big FOMO spike or things like that. Scan that QR code or click that link in the description and dive yourself headfirst into the Samurai Aquatics Discord server to pleasure your peepers on our current and future range of outdoor decor.
Empire, samurai, ride on a dingo, flying through the sky. Cheese in the house, get off and ride. Hit you with the hairbrush, hit you with the knife. Evil empire, samurai, ride on a dingo, flying through the sky. Hit you with the knife, flying through the sky. Evil empire, samurai, ride on a dingo, flying through the sky. Cheese in the house, get off and ride. Hit you with the hairbrush, hit you with the knife. Evil empire, samurai, ride on a dingo, flying through the sky. Hit you with the knife, flying through the sky.